Thanks for joining us here on Patriots Today. We are going to do a mailbag segment where we will answer your questions here on today's show from the best fans across the National Football League. Got plenty of great topics to cover in just a matter of moments. But first, don't miss out our first ever Patriots watch party coming up on Thursday night as the Patriots take on the Houston Texans. We'll be live for the entire first half. And we'll be bringing you a party in true Chat Sports fashion. Yes, there will be alcohol. We'll have some fun. And I guarantee you will be amazed. Join us. You will not want to miss it. Coming up on Thursday night. We'll get going about 30 minutes prior to kickoff. Be live for the entire first half right here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. You guys delivered. We said if you guys subscribed, if we got enough subscribers, we'd do a watch party. We're delivering. So keep on subscribing. Let's keep growing this channel so we can bring you more content here on Patriots Today. First question in the mailbag comes from Gary. Are we getting Ezekiel Elliott? I feel like he could revitalize his career with Bill's coaching. You know, you look at where the Patriots are at, and I know this isn't, we'll put it this way, the sexy signing of sorts for the New England Patriots. We know they're looking at options for a second running back, and when you talk about the potential names that are out there with Jonathan Taylor and Dalvin Cook and Josh Jacobs, whether it be free agency or trades, whatnot, those are the ones that come to mind. But where the Patriots are at, they're trying to find a number 2 running back, not a number 1, right? Ramondre Stevenson is your number 1. If you're looking for a veteran and you're looking for a number 2, Zeke could be that guy. And here's why he's a number 2 now, okay? Obviously, he's lost a step, but the stats back this up. His yards per carry is down at 3.8 yards per carry. Still at 12 touchdowns. He can be a good short yardage back and a power back of some sorts. And we've seen in this Patriots offense in the past, guys like LeGarrette Blount and others be effective as short yardage number 2 guys. And so I think that's where Zeke could fit in potentially. Could it happen? Yeah, I very well could see Zeke ending up in New England when it's all said and done. Are there other backs that are better? Yes, but Zeke might be able to fit what the Patriots are looking for without having to spend a lot of money. So we'll see if they end up doing it. Another question coming in. Shock Universe writes in, I don't love the Zeke idea, but I wouldn't hate it. Is the dream of trading for Jonathan Taylor or signing Dalvin Cook dead, though? Feel like they're much better options. They are much better options. But we heard reports over the weekend that the Dalvin Cook thing, at least right now, is dead, that he's not coming to New England, that has kind of gone by the wayside. Now, everything's relative, right? Something could change, but at least it seems like that ship has sailed for now. The Jonathan Taylor situation, we've heard from Jim Irsay, the owner of the Indianapolis Colts, say that Jonathan Taylor is not on the market, that they're not looking to pursue a trade right now, but that could also change as well if you put a good enough offer out there of sorts for Jonathan Taylor. And when you talk about all the running backs that are potential options right now, Jonathan Taylor is the most talented running back at this point in time and the youngest of the potential available options. Coming off a season where, even though he was banged up a bit, still had 4.5 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns, nearly 900 yards on the ground. That 2021 season, though, was just something else with over 1,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, 5.5 yards per carry. Jonathan Taylor is incredible. Meanwhile, Dalvin Cook. One narrative that I keep having to dispel on this show and other chat sports shows in defense of Dalvin Cook is this idea that just because the Vikings moved on from him, that he is, no pun intended, cooked, right? Dalvin Cook, as you can see the numbers last year, still had close to 4.5 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns, nearly 1,200 yards. Maybe he's not worth paying a second contract to, multi-year deal, but Dalvin Cook still is a very capable starter in this league that should be worth at least a 1 or 2 year contract. So if I were to pick a running back in this scenario, I would choose Jonathan Taylor. That would be my first choice if I'm just going based on talent. If I were to guess what's likely going to happen if it was between these three, I would think that Zeke is probably the most likely outcome. So your chance to weigh in the comment section. What are the Patriots going to do? What's the outcome that you think the Patriots are going to go with. Is it Zeke? Is it Jonathan Taylor or Dalvin Cook? Weigh in. Tell us in the comment section what you think. EE for Ezekiel Elliott, JT for Jonathan Taylor, DC for Dalvin Cook. Perry writes in and wants to know, is this a make-or-break year for Mac Jones? Will the front office try to move on from him if he disappoints and the Pats come in last? Yes, it is. No question. A make-or-break year for Mac Jones. A lot of pressure on Mac Jones. And when I look at Mac Jones, it's not just that he had a disappointing year last year, that he has to improve upon that front. But he's kind of asked, I think, unfairly, if you want to call it, dealt it not the best of circumstances, right? You look at the receiving corps and you see, okay, you got some good receivers, but not any great receivers. You got an offensive line that's got some problems in its own right. Mac Jones has an uphill battle of some sorts. And for Mac, it's not just getting back to what he did his rookie season with 22 touchdowns, 13 picks, and 3,800 yards, but building upon that. He's got to be even better than what he was. Mac Jones, simply put, has to improve as far as I'm concerned. And I think you are going to like what you see out of Mac Jones in 2023. I think he's going to take the steps necessary that he needs to, heading in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. I'm very optimistic that we'll see Mac Jones bounce back and have a very good season. And Bill O'Brien's going to be the best thing that ever happened to him as far as that goes. Next question in the mailbag this week. Jared writes, which player has impressed you a lot so far in training camp? I got to tell you about my guy, Christian Gonzalez. Now, I know it's goofy looking, seeing him wearing, a number in the 50s, because Belichick makes those rookies still earn their numbers before they can go get theirs. But Christian Gonzalez has looked fantastic. And from what he's been able to do in pass coverage, creating turnovers, making plays, they've put him against some of the best receivers the Patriots have to offer. And he's done a really good job in coverage there. This is a guy that at Oregon last year had 7 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, very capable of creating a lot of turnovers. And I think you're going to see that from Christian Gonzalez, that he is going to be a ball hawk and cause problems for opposing offenses as far as it goes. Christian Gonzalez should immediately start. Even with as good as the secondary is for New England, Christian Gonzalez should right away come in and be an impact player on this defense as far as I'm concerned. Next question, Mac Attack writes, do you think the Pats have a chance to win the AFC East? You look at where the Patriots are at right now, and it is an uphill battle for what New England has had, because the Buffalo Bills are arguably as good as any team in the AFC, right up there with Kansas City and Cincinnati, right? The New York Jets have made tremendous strides. They've gotten a lot better over this offseason, and they weren't a bad team last year. Now you add in Aaron Rodgers and all that they did this year. The Jets are going to be really good, and they might not be done with their moves. The Miami Dolphins, they spent a lot of money on Jalen Ramsey. Obviously, he's not going to be around, but you still have a pretty explosive offense there. A lot of work cut out for the New England Patriots. At this point in time, the roster for New England is a 4th-place roster. It might be good enough to get into the postseason. That division is really good, but at this very moment, that's a 4th-place roster. If you are expecting New England to compete and win this division, they cannot sit quietly with what they have right now and expect to compete. If they are going to win this division, there is going to have to be some investment. There's going to have to be some improvements, some trades, signings, whatever it may be. Because right now, the truth of the matter is this team ain't good enough as is to win that division. Could they make the playoffs? Maybe. A lot would have to go right as far as that goes, but at least a division title, that's out of the question right now. They can't win the division as is. Something has to change. So prediction time. Where do you think the Patriots will finish in the AFC East? Can Belichick and company put it together? Can they bring back the division title to Foxborough? Weigh in. Tell us what you think in the comment section. Thanks for joining us here on a mailbag edition of Patriots Today. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Threads at Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there. I'll see you next time right here on Patriots Today.